Hello, I'm Justin Bastow. I'm a professor in the biology department at Eastern Washington University. And in this video I'm going to talk to you about collecting insects. I'm going to focus on terrestrial insects, and if you're interested in aquatic insects, you should check out the video by my colleague, Dr. McNeely. So insects are by far the most diverse animals on Earth in terms of the number of different species of insects that we know about. And insects are also incredibly diverse in terms of the different sorts of roles that they play in ecosystems, which means that you can find insects more or less anywhere, although it helps to know how to look for them. So insects that you find this time of year, we're relatively early in the year of course, insects that you find this time of year are going to include a lot of insects that overwinter as adults. And because they overwinter as adults, they can become active pretty quickly in the spring. So some familiar examples of insects that overwinter as adults include the European ground beetle, which is a relatively large ground-dwelling predaceous beetle that feeds on snails and slugs, which is commonly found in people's yards, especially in March, April, and into May. Another familiar insect often spotted early in the spring are western box elder bugs, so black and red bugs which aggregate in large numbers to kind of overwinter and then become active pretty quickly in the spring. Other insects overwinter either as eggs or as larvae and nymphs, and they'll become kind of more conspicuous and more abundant later in the year. Most insects are associated either with soil and litter, or they're associated with plants. Once again, because we're relatively early in the year, still pretty early in the spring, it's going to probably be easier right now to find insects that are associated with soil. So a great way to find insects is to go to natural areas and turn over rocks to see what's underneath them, turn over bark or logs that you find to see if there's anything under them, as well as simply taking handfuls of dirt or leaf litter from the ground and spreading them out on a white sheet of paper. That white paper makes it really easy to spot any little critters that are moving around in that dirt or in that litter. As we get later into the spring and into the summer, as more things are blooming, plants will be a great thing to explore when looking for insects. Many insects are associated with plants. These include insects that feed on plants, as well as insects which visit flowers to pollinate them. So looking for leaf damage on plants, as well as poking around in flowers and even shaking flowers out over a white piece of paper to see if any little critters fall out. It's a great way to find more insects. So, as I mentioned, insects are by far the most diverse animals on Earth, and they're found pretty much everywhere. However, insects have been declining in a lot of places around the world over the last couple decades, declining both in terms of their abundance as well as their diversity. Data such as you're collecting and contributing to iNaturalist is really valuable for scientists who are trying to document, research, and understand these declines in insect abundance and diversity. So thank you for contributing your observations through this BioBlitz. If you would like to help promote insects, a great way to do that is to plant a diversity of plants, including native wildflowers, shrubs, even trees in your yard, and of course not spraying those plants with anything that would harm insects, and also not being too upset if some of those plants get a little bit nibbled on by bugs. You can also promote insects in your yard by leaving some areas of bare ground, rocks, and rotting wood for those soil and litter associated insects. Thank you again for contributing to this BioBlitz and for your interest in insects, and I'll be excited to see all the critters that you find. Thank you.